back! How are you guys doing? So I've been seeing a lot of this lately and becoming a little overwhelmed with my to-do list. You know, that phase of just wallowing in a vat of self-pity, which I discovered can be solved by two things. First, comparing myself to more hip people. Did you know that while in Leipzig, Bogged was responsible for the education of several hundred boys, which included teaching them classes throughout the week. He managed the music and the services of 4 different churches. Plus, occasionally he would work at the university church. He wrote a new cantata each week to be rehearsed and performed every weekend. And to get some extra income, he also wrote and performed music for special occasions like weddings or funerals. He had a giant family to worry about, and on top of that, he didn't have any plumbing or antibiotics or Advil to take away the headaches. Yeah, a little perspective helps once in a while. I mean, we even have toilets in the air now, so what do we really have to complain about? Welcome back to Kailey's Chronicles. But sometimes all of that doesn't cheer me up, so there's always this. Drums, so you guessed it, this week I want to talk about dancing. Okay, well maybe not whatever that was, flaily dancing. Baroque music is intrinsically tied with the dance styles of the time, even if the piece wasn't composed to be danced to, like Bach's solo violin sonatas, for example. The influence of dance forms and styles are still present in the music. And how do you know they didn't get down with it in the clubs like we do now? Well, I hate to be the one to break this to you, but I don't think they say get down with it anymore. We know these things because they left us some really great treaties. Much of Baroque dance was developed in the French court under the King Louis XIV. Louis was a dance enthusiast, making his debut at age 13 in 1651, and 3 years later he appeared in his famous performance as Apollo, the sun god, and it won him the nickname of the Sun King. Louis expected his courtiers to not only see him as a god, but also to show him their reverence through court dances. The choreography and the music of these dances were extremely precise. It was vital that if you wanted to be part of French nobility, you knew your dance steps. Most of your success in life depended on how well you presented yourself in court. This was especially important for women. They weren't allowed to work, so their entire livelihood depended on maintaining a high enough standing in court to find a financially stable husband. Louis, if he could hear you calling him by his first name right now, he'd have you beheaded. Louis established the first school of dance called the Académie Royale de Danse in March of 1661. Dancing experts were hired to restore the art of dancing to its original perfection. In other words, Louis wanted certified dance instructors, or masters as they called them, and a unified curriculum for all the court dances. Dancing masters were both dancers and musicians. They would carry around a pochette, or a pocket violin, a more compact violin that easily fit into your jacket pocket when you went off to teach lessons to all the court nobility. This thing totally doesn't fit into my cape. This was essentially their version of an iPod. During this period, dance notation was invented. It helped the dance masters teach, but it also helped dance forms travel throughout Europe, from the courts in France to England, for example. Looking at this notation is really interesting. As you can see, they would put an example snippet of music for the dance master to play at the top of the page, though they likely just used this as a guideline to improvise upon. The notation below showed you which way to face in the room when you start, the direction you move in, and the steps you take, each step having its own specific notation, just like music. It was not only the gestures you made with your arms and with your feet that were really important to the choreography. They also valued dances that created elaborate patterns on the floor, which often got very complex. As you can probably tell, there are many different kinds of Baroque dance, and I'm not an expert. I do really enjoy looking at how they physically and visually express the different gestures in the music, so I know how I should be playing it. It's a really great resource to figure out which beats are important or which beats are to be let go if a dancer is leaping up into the air, for example. If you're curious to learn more, I linked below to a really great video that has some zoomed in footage on the feet of the professional Baroque dancers, so you can really see what they're doing. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. To all of you guys out there facing auditions and applications, or the rest of you guys that might be feeling a little bogged down, I challenge you guys to hit the clubs or go find a dancing class and have some fun this week. And don't forget, stay hip.